Hi guys! Today, well technically yesterday, we finished our vocabulary words by Merriam-Webster's Dictionary of Synonyms and Antonyms. So today we got to have something new, and I remember those like changing things into pictures, mental picture things that I did before that. So I found this. Word nerds visualize your vocabulary, which just basically says turn any ACT word into a picture and remember it forever. See page 108. I haven't seen page 108 yet. And I'm assuming this is Word Nerd. And now I'll do 20 words, and let's start off where we do that. Alright, first word here is edify. Edify is a verb, and this basically means to enlighten you. And otherwise known as teaching you something that you probably didn't know. Like, let's say, in this case, this professor is enlightening us about how to make an egg to fly. Egg to fly. Edify. Get it? I'll just call him Professor Word Nerd. Professor Word Nerd is edifying us on how to make an egg to fly. Our next word is eschew. Eschew. Eschew, another verb, and here it basically means you reject something. When you're eschewing someone, you're not liking that person. You're like, or if you're eschewing something, you're just shunning that thing. In this case, this girl over here is eschewing this food, and you remember it by using eschew, because eschew and eschew sound very similar. The very veganist and tree-hugging girl here was at a very fancy party, and when the waiter or waitress served the meatballs, she, eschewed it and deliberately achewed in it. Oh yeah, and then she walked away. What a burn. Next up, we have upbraid. Upbraid. You have the word that you use to remember it as up-braid. When something's you're upbraiding someone, which, by the way, is just another verb. When you're upbraiding someone, you're going ahead and you're chastising that person. You're making fun of the person. You're literally criticizing the person. In this case, you probably remember with this picture and this sentence. This was the first time I was upbraiding a girl's hair. I tried to go ahead and, as an amateur, started braiding it from the downwards, and then she started upbraiding me about why are you starting from the braid up. Our fifth word is imperative, and yes, this is Paul Bunyan. Imperative here just basically means very, very exaggerated. This is imperative. I showed you the wrong photo. Imperative. Here, it basically means something's really exaggerated, you're overreacting at it, and you're like, that's bad. And once here, it also means you're something critical and essential. In our case, this parrot needs imperative cutting of surgery of his ribs. Ignore that part about overreaction. Parrot, rib, imperative. Get it? Get it? Oh my, this never work. In this case, this is an adjective. Since I don't have orange, I'll just use the next best color I have. Imperative. Alright, let's keep going. This parrot needs to have surgery. Imperative. Basically means this parrot needs surgery pronto. Now this photo, Paul Bunyan photo. Paul Bunyan. Here basically means histrionic. Histrionic, which again is also an adjective. And this means you're literally exaggerated, overreacting over something. And in this case, there's a literal meteor that's coming to Earth, and then Paul Bunyan rides up, does his dramatic poses, and uses his tree to kick the meteor, use the tree on it. He uses his tree on the meteor, in this case it, so that it flies back into space, just like how Babe Ruth would with his hardballs. That works. Our sixth word is perfidy. Perfidy, a noun. When something's perfiding, you're literally trusting someone with something. And then the person you trusted, they basically betrayed you. Of course, the synonym to this is disloyalty, treachery. And with that, we get this person. Now, this is a little weird because it's the word that we need to actually go ahead to remember this is bird feet. And by the way, this is a chicken. When this woman went ahead to go out on a little trip for like a week, she forgot her luggage. So she went back to her home to go ahead, grab the luggage, and she already trusted this man to go ahead and care for her pet chicken. And as soon as she got there, she saw him, well, her pet's chicken legs inside his mouth. And she was horrified. That's pretty much how you remember perfidize. This person perfidied her. Alright, our 7th word is sanguine. Sanguine just basically means ready. As in, like, when something's ready, it's not, like, actually working well. And you remember with the word penguin. In this case, penguin as in penguin. That works. So the old the old Texan person with his iconic Texan hat goes ahead and is pretty ruddy, aka known as ruddy. Sanguine. Our old Texan friend with his trademark Texan hat goes ahead and is a little sanguine with his always cheerful friend, a penguin, or however you want to say that. Our 8th word is euphemism, where you're like, something's grandiloquent. It's something that's better or fancy, which works out really well in some cases here too. And the word that we use to actually remember this word is youth prison, because when something's in euphemism, well, they're probably in youth prison. The mother here is very hard to believe. This euphemistic mother is very hard to believe that her supposedly euphemistic son is in youth prison. However, she does not like the word, so she prefers the euphemistic word juvenile detention. No, he's not in youth prison. No, he's in juvenile detention. Our 9th word is tirade, which just basically means you're chastising someone. Again, in this case, this officer is chastising this man here, for going over the speed limit when this thing was flashing like this. You should not go over 20 meters speed limit when this thing is flashing. And of course, this is like diatribe, and the word that you use to remember it's a high rate. You're not supposed to go at a high rate of speed when this light is blinking in this school zone. Alright, our next word is embody. Embody a verb. When something's embodying something, that just basically means it's living in that thing, personifying that thing, should I say. In this case, you're like, hey, you little M's out there, you're gonna go ahead and say and shape with me. And then you'll embody a very big and buff M body like the one in front of you. After all the years of training, that is. Now go ahead and do it along with me. Persistence equals goal. Our 11th word is pompous. When someone's pompous, which is, by the way, is an adjective, that basically means they only think about themselves. They're selfish and they only aware of themselves. And the word that you use to remember it is surprisingly pompous. And of course, the synonym to this is arrogant and vain. It sounds like someone I know. Why are you looking at me? Alright. This pompous cheerleader was so into herself, so arrogant, that she hasn't noticed that her palms have been leaking of puss. She was so pompous that she didn't notice her palm puss. Get it? Playing words. Our 12th word is rhetoric. Now, this goes a little controversial in my opinion. So, apparently, this guy is supposed to be a teacher. And just like Robert E. Oppenheimer, he's also a devout communist. And these are his students. And our word here is rhetoric. And here, his rhetoric is pretty stupid, because all it is about communism. And of course, he's also called, and here we get the word rhetoric to use to remember it. So what do we get? Here's the sentence. Our teacher Derek was so bad at using rhetoric. He tries to use his rhetoric and proclaims himself a very devout communist and tries to turn us into mini communists. We call him Red Derek because of his communism, and his face gets red every time he goes on a very long rhetoric. Okay, this word is called avarice. Now, when something's in avarice, that just basically means it's a cupidity. And cupidity, they're very greedy. they really, really want things so badly. In this case, it's a virus that you use to remember it. Sounds so familiar. Avarice. Our Avarice virus is so large that once he actually got in the vault with his sharp teeth, he looted it, everything in it, which included gold bars, pennies, and paper dollar bills. Next, we have nadir, which just basically means making fun of, and you're at the low point. Using Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had it the most, and had his avarice was at his lowest point when he had his red flashing noise. Well, unfortunately not, because what's a reindeer? Because reindeers are all very, very nadir, because they're all at lows. They're all at their lows because every other reindeer is just making fun of them. Look at this kid. Next up, we have dormant, which of course sounds a lot like doormat, so that's literally what we're going to use. Dormant also basically means you're sleeping and you're inactive and inert. When you're having party guests over and you have a dormant doormat, make sure they sleep over it so they don't wake it up and annoy them and try to bite them and try to probably put them in its stomach. Our 15th word is dormant. When someone's dormant, that person is pretty tough and they're unwavering and they're just going to stay that way for a while. And of course, our synonym to this, immutable. Our synonym to this word, immutable, just basically means unwavering. And of course, our word that we use to remember this is a mute bull. This mute bull is so good at being a mute that he has made a vow of silence until he was 18. Nobody, not even bullies, can convince him to talk. Our 17th word is vacuous. Vacuous. In this case, vacuous just basically means empty. Like there's nothing in there. Something's blank. Something's missing here. You know, like Homer Simpson? Well, after you vacuum out the dust and cobwebs inside his brain, he basically has a vacuous brain. Our 18th word is bedlam, which just basically means it's chaos, it's mayhem, it's anarchy. After Jake tried to count sheep were suddenly on him, on his bed, and it was all chaos, anarchy, and a lot more. And he still cannot go to sleep. Because these are all bedlam, and he's bedlam of lamb now. Alright, this one we have utopia. Utopia is a noun and it's basically supposed to mean a place. It's heaven. It's the perfect place that you would ever want to go to. It's the perfect place that you ever want to be. And here, utopia. Here, a you and a toe are looking for their own paradises. They stumble upon a bear, aka beer, and they use it and find out that their you and toe are a utopia. Utopia. And that works. That works just fine. Alright, synonym to this is bliss in heaven. Utopia. Alright, next word, we have this. Sanctimony. Our synonym to this is hypocrisy. Now, when something's like a sanctimony, there's a lot of affection being shown. When something's sanctimonious, they're showing some affection. Like this little businessman doing it here too. However, this businessman is only doing it for kicks because apparently all this is sanctimony. Boo. So that's it for today. I really hope you guys actually did enjoy this episode. I really hope to see you guys soon in the next one. And so until next time, Shanana, peace. Bye-bye. Next time I'll do way better than this time. This is the first time I'm ever doing this book. See ya.